Hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Intiana. I go by the Chronicle Reader. On this channel, I talk about books and sometimes dramas. So today I am here to talk about two different dramas I am currently watching side by side. I just really want to talk about them because I find that these two dramas have become two different sides of a same coin to me, and that is an interesting phenomena that I just really want to talk about. In this video I will be talking about Never Ending Summer and the first Jasmine. These two dramas have something in common, the thing in common being that I have read their original works and have for a really long time anticipated their drama adaptations because of, first of all, how much I enjoyed the original works, and second of all, how excited I was for the parents of the lead cast. So for Never Ending Summer, we have Jokoyu and Bao Shang-eun, and in the first Jasmine, we have Bailu and Changlei. These are fire pairings. So I was really looking forward to this, and I find that these dramas, the two of them, have done very opposite things with their take on the adaptation. And I just really find it interesting. Part of those things I like, some of them I dislike. I will be telling you guys my thoughts about these dramas in three parts. What I liked about them, what I disliked about them, and the side of the coin I think they are on, or just to basically explain how I think these adaptations have put these two dramas that are vastly different on opposite sides of one same coin. Starting off with Never Ending Summer, which is the one I think I am more caught up with. I am currently on episode 22, and today that I'm speaking to you, only 24 episodes have been released. This is a modern drama set in present day reality, no fantasy elements that I know of, intentionally at least. It airs on Mango TV. I think Aichi is also airing this. I feel like Aichi is in everybody's business these days, and there is nothing they're not airing. It has a total of 29 episodes, and we have the lead cast, like I've said before, Jokayu and Bao Shang. And this drama follows two high school students, at least they start as high school students in the drama, Joanne and Lu Shixiao. Now, Joanne has found herself in a situation of hardship. It's just her and her grandmother, and no mom, no dad, and they are struggling financially. She's doing a lot of odd jobs to make ends meet because her grandma is old, but then there is also the add-on of her grandma being ill and needing like expensive hospital treatment, giving her more reason to just do some questionable side jobs. Being a high schooler, she is just really desperate for money, and so she finds out that this very troublesome student in their school, this popular bad boy, for a lack of vocabulary of what to characterize his character as in the adaptation, Lucy Xiao. She finds out that her mom, her biological mom, is positioning herself to become Lucy Xiao's stepmom because Lucy Xiao's family is really rich, and so she gets close to Lucy Xiao to blackmail her mom into giving her money in exchange for keeping the secret of her already having a biological daughter. So in that process, Joanne and Lucia begin to cultivate a relationship. I like quite a number of things about this drama. First we have is the cinematography. I want to say that I am quite literally obsessed with the director's work in this drama. I love it so much. These shots, not only are they so pretty, they feel like a movie, they feel so intentional. The last time I watched the drama and thought to myself, this drama feels like a movie was when I was watching the first Frost. When you're watching a Chinese drama, especially for myself, that is an international fan that is relying on subtitles, not only am I looking at what is going on screen, I am also reading subtitles. If there is an OST playing in the background, I am also taking that in as well, and it just feels like a lot at once. So, in the case of the first Frost, where I just had to keep pausing to fully appreciate the directing in that, it kind of became a lot. But with this, I can do all these things simultaneously. Like, the directing is good, but it's not a situation where it feels overwhelming, and that is absolutely stunning. I had to go look up the director, and I saw that it was a Taiwanese director, and I was just thinking to myself, because I also watched a Sniper Butterfly. I was really impressed with how that was directed, how they were switching between the timelines, and pretty much when you listen to interviews of Sniper Butterfly, it's pretty much just the actors telling you how your favorite moments from the drama are all just the director's vision and his insight and his experience and every other such thing. Then also earlier this year, I was watching this acting variety show, and when people are talking, like people in the industry currently are talking about like their favorite works, it's always these old Taiwanese movies and old Taiwanese dramas, and it makes me think that the Taiwanese people are up to something, at least when it comes to directing stuff, just from this experience. Honestly, I have my eye out for them. I just feel like if I currently hear that a C drama I'm looking forward to has a Taiwanese director, I'm about to be absolutely seated for that drama. That's how good I think the directing of this drama is. The second thing I really, really love about Never Ending Summer is the OSTs. The OSTs are literally the icing on the cake. These are such stunning sounds, such stunning songs that I cannot stop listening to that. I keep hoping they play every other moment in every other scene, because not a single one is a miss. This is an album of songs that somehow fit the vibe of this, but still sound very perfect on their own. My recommended watching experience for Never Ending Summer is to replicate as much as you can of a home theater. Get yourself a speaker and a dark room, and just appreciate the beauty of the audio and visual that this drama is giving to us. You need to experience this drama like you're watching it in a cinema. And the last thing that really, really stands out to me on the positive side of this drama is Koyu's acting. Jokoyu is an actor that acts, okay, like lovely. When I watched Sniper Butterfly, I was so impressed. My impression levels were high up there. I just feel like he has such understanding of his characters, be that Liwu from Sniper Butterfly or Lucy Xiao from Never Ending Summer. I just feel like there is such an understated understanding of the characters he plays, the way he fully embodies these characters, the details, the attention to details he gives to them in certain moments. He's an actor I watch that I never have to wonder what his character might be thinking in that moment. I am always like very impressed whenever I can find an actor, actress that I never ever have to rack my brain and I'm like, what is this person trying to express in this moment? So I really am impressed by that. What do I dislike about Never Ending Summer? It just boils down to one thing, is that I've also seen a lot of people talking about this and I completely agree with them, is that the plot seems a bit nonsensical. A lot of things happening that you're like, really? They're just high school students. This is clearly happening just to get us to this particular moment. It's clear nobody really cares about how much sense this particular plot line would make, especially for two young teenagers that are still in school. No matter the amount of freedom they have, like, it just doesn't make sense that this thing is happening. And honestly, it has done something to this drama for me. It has done something where The minute I put down this drama, I kind of forget about it until I come across an edit or something. But if it's a day where I'm like really busy and I don't have time to either open my Twitter or Instagram, I don't really think about this drama because there really isn't much to think about. It's almost bordering on brain rot content, but not to that extent. So it's just a situation where I finish whatever episode I'm watching that day, and I don't really think about it as much. Like, obviously, when I'm watching it, I feel like I'm having the best time of my life. I am having a really wonderful, great experience. But once I get to the last minute of that episode, Never Ending Summer is pretty much gone for me till I come across something or someone talking about it on the internet. I think that is this huge flaw that this drama has, which brings me to the side of the coin. I think it is because I think that this thing I dislike about this drama is highly affected by its take on its adaptation. So I told you guys what the drama is about. Let me tell you what the original novel is about. In the original novel, Joanne approaches Lucy Xiao because she finds out that her mom wants to become Lucy Xiao's stepmom, get married into a rich family, but she doesn't want to blackmail her mom for money like in the drama. What she wants is to seduce Lucy Xiao into a romantic relationship in hopes that it would ruin her mother's chances of getting married into his family, because she's thinking to herself, obviously, the son of this family, the heir of this family, if I start dating him, his dad is not going to like that, his grandfather is not going to like that, his family members are not going to like that, and best case scenario, they kick my mom out. Worst case scenario, they kick both of us out and nobody gets anything in the end. That's her thinking. That's her bottom line. But with this, we get a very whitewashed version. We get this version of, I just want to get close to her and get money from her. Okay. And it strips away a lot of things from this drama.
I wanted to emphasize how this change or just the absence of this ruthlessness in Joanne changes a lot when it comes to the angst and hurt between Joanne and Lucia, because I think it is a different situation when you are like, oh, I'm really desperate and I need help from this person. And so my hurting you is you getting caught in the crossfires of my desperation, which is what we see in the drama adaptation. In huge contrast to the novel, where she presents this very ruthless side to her, where she plans out to use and hurt Lucia just to, destroy her mother. It's a situation of, I really hate this person. I want them destroyed for all their worth. That I don't care who else gets hurt in the process. And so when you see her sort of pulling away from him, like we see in the drama, which also happens in the novel, it carries more impact, her feelings of guilt. There is also like this contrast in the novel with like her ruthlessness and her naivety, which I talk about later on in this video. And I just think that we lose a lot of that impact. It just feels like, that's why the relationship between them didn't feel as meaningful and as touching, because this is the core thing between them, is her intention to actually hurt Lucia. Okay, it's not a thing of, I was just desperate and I was, looking for a way out, and it doesn't just hit as hard.
Another thing is that Lucia's character is also whitewashed, not too much, but it's some of the edges are really smoothed out against his character, because one thing that really stands out to you when you are reading the original novel is Joanne's feeling of being an unkind person, and this really strikes you in the novel and like just brings to the forefront and center her fragility, her naivety, and you kind of continuously just see her as a teenager and just a young child suffering despite all the crazy things they are going through in the novel, because it's like she is playing this person that has never regarded any other person's emotions apart from his own, that is very juvenile, very delinquent, pretty much treats people as things for his pleasure. And so she's doing this supposedly bad thing to him, but it reflects so much on her character, on the complexity of her character, that she cannot stand herself for doing this thing to this supposedly not so good person, that you'd be like, oh, I mean, I guess this is his karma for treating people the way he has previously. That is the first thing that we don't really see in this drama. And so a lot of the time when Joanne comes to lament about wanting to be kind or not really being a good person, it doesn't pack the same punch as it does in the novel. The second thing we have is that a lot of the things that happen in this drama, so when I was talking about how things seem nonsensical for them to get to a situation where she is in a situation of being threatened with a knife and he's being stabbed and things like that, pretty much all those things come about as a result of the edges that are smoothed out from Lucicia's character. But because now he is not this very delinquent juvenile, we now have to find a way to allocate a lot of these things to the other characters. We now have them allocating the main antagonist to Joanne, the female character, as having something to do with her. You just have a lot of these moments that were really important, that was significant to the emotional progression between Joanne and Lucicia. Like those things are really important. But now they change so many things about the characters themselves. And so it just stands to reason that how they are going to present these things that are really important, because they still end up presenting those things, they have to find some way around it. And unfortunately, this crew has not found a very reasonable route to get to those points. And so what we have with Never Ending Summer is a drama that relies on highs. It just gives the image of somebody walking a tightrope with a safety rope connected to them, and you're walking the tightrope, and every so often you fall from that tightrope and you're just falling, flailing in the air with nothing to land on, no ground beneath you, till that safety rope draws you back. That safety rope being the rush of dopamine, of serotonin that you get when all these grand romantic things are happening between Joanne and Lucicia. And the falling is how we get to all those moments. That is Never Ending Summer and my thoughts on it. As always, if you have thoughts similar or dissimilar to my opinions, let me know in the comments. The next drama we will be talking about, the other side of the coin, is the first Jasmine by who? So the first Jasmine is a historical drama. It's also a romance drama, I think, for the most part. It is airing on WeTV. I don't think I've seen Aichi post anything about this yet. So, but also I haven't really seen, like, I feel like Never Ending Summer is just all over my feed, and then Dazzling, and I just don't see anything about all the other dramas I am currently checking out. So this has a total of 40 episodes. The day that I'm filming this, the express 40 episodes have been released. I have only watched 30 episodes because, yeah, I'm saving those last 10 episodes to binge tomorrow. Yeah, because I have an activity at work that lets me, watch stuff while I am working, and I'm going to be doing a lot of that tomorrow. And I know I'm just going to get all those episodes in by then, highest next tomorrow, before I'm done with it. And I just didn't want to like leave myself on more cliffhangers, because where I stopped was the beginning of a sort of angsty period between the two main characters. So I just wanted to watch all their angst and reunion in one go, which is exactly what I'm going to do for Never Ending Summer as well. Like, I'm not going to pick it up anymore till all the episodes are released. I've just watched all that at once. The first Jasmine is a drama that follows Yeli and Moshuyao. Yeli is a daughter of this official that has some at least standing in court. Her mom is from this very prestigious Lishan Academy. Her dad comes from a merchant family, so her mom is currently gone, and her dad is married to this other lady who was originally a concubine, rose up in ranks and became the primary wife after the death of her mom. So she has a stepsister, is the point we are getting. So originally she was betrothed to this prince that is in the drama a fallen prince because he is the only surviving person or remnant of the palace, or of the Eastern Palace. That was the palace of the former emperor before the current Empress Dowager took power. Okay, so she's betrothed to him, and at this time that she is betrothed to him, she has found herself trapped in this Lishan Academy in the mountains, and so she's really looking forward to this betrothal because getting married to him would mean leaving the mountain. But he begs the Empress Dowager to cancel his betrothal to her and get him engaged to her stepsister. So the Empress Dowager grants this request, but decides, I don't know, in a bout of pity or strategy or whatever, decides to betroth Yeli to Moshuyao. Moshuyao is titled Prince Ding. Prince Ding is crippled and fallen. His household is fallen because they were caught up in the coup that took place, and pretty much his entire family and army were sort of executed because of a wrongful accusation. And in this drama, Yeli's mom is one of the contributing factors to this execution. So when she's betrothed to Moshe Yao, she is excited to come down from the mountain to get married to him, and also is looking forward to clearing his family name because of the debt her mom owes them. That's what this drama is about. I hope I explained this in a way that made sense, because I kept on trying not to mix what the drama is about and what the novel is about. What do I like about the first Jasmine? In its entirety, or like summarily, I think that the story for the first Jasmine is very solid, like overall. Like there's some things about it that are not 100% perfect, but I think that overall the execution of the storyline is really good. Things they decided to change from the novel, the things they also decided to keep from the novel, and how all that comes together seamlessly, especially in comparison to Never Ending Summer. A pretty good job was done here. I hardly find myself watching this drama and being in a moment of how does that make any sense? Like, I don't think I've had such a moment through the 30 episodes of this drama I have watched. And I also like that this drama is able to keep a sense of excitement. Like, it doesn't go very slowly, even though the romance is a very slow, quiet romance, which is also another thing I really, really love about this drama, is that they kept that aspect of the romance between Yeli and Moshiao from the novel, because in the novel as well they get married really early, and is all this bunch of chapters with them already married and also having affections for each other. It kind of lacks excitement if you talk about it theoretically, but the way it's executed both in the novel and in the drama, even though just a bit differently because of slight difference in the storylines, I really like it. I feel like we need more representation of romance like this on screen that doesn't rely on, extremely high and low fluctuations of emotions, on chaos, on drama. It's just really steady, stable, grounded, and really, really mature. I love it. I absolutely love it. The second thing I love about this, even though this is more half and half, is the mental illness conversation that this drama has struck up. Because in this drama, we have in the beginning a sister-in-law that is really depressed and very detached from the world. We have our main character, Yeli, who is seeing people that are dead constantly. And it just strikes up this conversation around mental illnesses. And I really like that because already we have something that we don't really see in dramas a lot, which is a male lead with disability, even though he gets, better. It's not a spoiler. I don't think that should be a spoiler.
So I digressed a little bit here to just continue gushing on about how I like the stable, steady relationship progression between Yeli and Moshiao. But what I wanted to emphasize at this point was how we have two main characters that are both disabled. So we have Yeli being mentally disabled, and we have Moshiao being physically disabled. And I just really like them bringing like this two parts, do I say, two halves make a full one, and just how it grounds the character even more. I think my favorite thing truly about this drama, which I will talk about later, is how grounded it is. Like, it's just hard to fail with something so grounded, something so, rooted in something that it's not like falling around like we had in Never Ending Summer, and just like the complexities that brought about with their relationship. Then I also did mention about how the mental illness representation and also like the MMC's disability is a half and half thing for me. So while I like, the conversations it brought up, the groundness or like the stability it provides to this story overall when it comes to the main characters, I also feel like there was a lot more potential to the resolutions, quote unquote, of these disabilities. And I kind of wish that it was more fleshed out. It wasn't just a situation of, oh, this person comes in and they can see you past this disability and now you guys are all right, if that makes any sense.
Like he gets better obviously as the drama goes on, but it also is like really interesting to see a male lead introduced that he doesn't have this great aura automatically and stuff like that. Like he just is really mostly normal, and I like that, even though it is a bit different from what is explored in the novel. I actually really I like this style of storytelling. Like the more I don't say the more I age or something, but like I feel like the more stories I consume, especially fiction, how it just relies so much on ups and downs and emotional fluctuations and stuff like that. Like I really like the almost calm, very, very understated nature, how stable it just is, especially towards the romance aspect of this drama. Like I cannot begin to tell you guys how much I appreciate it. It feels so great to watch. It feels so great to experience. It feels so great to consume. I feel like the quietness stays with me a lot longer than the noise and chaos. The first Jasmine, the moments between Yeli and Moshi are always on my mind, always on my mind. Like even though I rarely see it on any of my feeds, I constantly am thinking about them. Then to the things I do not particularly like, this one I can't really say, I dislike it. It's just things that I'm not as pumped about them as I thought I would be. The acting performances of Bailu and Cheng Lei, who I feel like, safe to say, I have watched their filmography. I have watched almost everything Bailu has been in, and I have watched every single thing Cheng Lei has been in. Their portrayals of their characters. Now, I don't know if it's because of my expectation from what the characters were like in the novel or just how they portrayed these characters in general. It just feels really underwhelming to me. It feels like Like, I've not seen anything particularly new to indicate to me that these are new characters. And it's even all the more disappointing, especially because of the complexity of characters I was talking about, how yearly is. I don't know how to pronounce that word, to be honest with you. All my years of speaking English, I don't know how to pronounce that word, but like how she's hallucinating, how Chenglei is in a wheelchair, but somehow still has to be a main character. I'm just not getting anything from the way they portray this character. I'm not saying, oh, they are stiff faced or anything like that, but there's just something about it that feels very lacking to me. These are just my opinions, okay? And obviously, my word is not law. My thoughts are not going to put them out of a job or anything. I just am not overly impressed, or I'm not even impressed at all. I feel very neutral about it, and that's a bit disappointing because I was really looking forward to the pairing of Bailu and Changlei, but it almost feels like it could be any other people playing these roles. The second thing I want to say I dislike about this is that this drama relies on a lot of talking. While I like the approach to this adaptation, I realize that the characters are always talking, even when they don't need to be talking. So, one example I want to point out that has made me come to this conclusion is that you watch a lot of the side characters in this, a lot of the either the ones that are villains or the ones that were misguided villains, and when their sort of story arc is coming to a conclusion, this drama decides that the best approach to close out their arcs is just to have these characters narrate to us. I mean, obviously, you're telling it to another character, but it's us. Narrate to us, like they're just literally talking to us. No flashbacks involved, no images involved. It's just them sitting and talking to us about their whole life story. And also, Yeli does it a lot. Something happens and she starts narrating this long-winded story to Montreal, and sometimes I'm just like, this character is talking a bit much. I don't know. I would like to see something. I am watching a drama for a reason. I would like to see things rather than just hear them, if that makes any sense. So I think that this is like, if I had to talk about a downside of this adaptation, which I think was to be expected, because first of all, I just think that the original novel is too long and you cannot possibly compress all that into 40 episodes. That is in terms of character motivations and character backgrounds. And so it almost feels like they have no choice but to always just bombard us with all this information. It's literally is info dumping, where someone just sits down and talk about why they, like, how they were normal before and why they became bad, like what put them in that situation, and how they have been surviving, and how it has led them to this dead end, or how it led them to a dead end, but somehow they were still able to survive. Like, you're talking too much. They are talking too much. It grates on the nerves a little bit, I cannot lie. Apart from those two things, I don't really have too much to complain about the first Jasmine, because overall, I really am partial towards how the story was executed. In terms of the adaptation from the novel to the drama, in contrast, huge contrast to Never Ending Summer, is very grounded. To get to a high point of emotional feeling, it feels like you have to walk towards it.
So, to get to what you would call an emotional high with this drama, it felt like you really had to work for it. You had to, sit through phases and stages of character development and plot development equally to get there. And it's better. I mean, the high from something you didn't work for would like come easier, come quicker, and might feel really good. but then it just doesn't last. So, in contrast to the way this was adapted, like I said before, I really am a fan of it. But another thing I really want to talk about for the adaptation concerning this, I think that this is one of my favorite ways to see novels being adapted into dramas, especially when you cannot replicate the novels to the T, is sort of changing up the storyline, but keeping the essence of the characters. So in the novel, we have Yeli being really clever, somewhat unusual, but also really clever and smart. And they keep that in this, but not with the same storyline and also not with the same reasons. Clearly, people in the story writing, the screenwriting department are thinking to themselves, how are we going to make this make sense? And I cannot say that for a lot of the adaptations that we see today currently. You know, you have Montreal being really, really devoted to Yeli, but they are changing things up about the storyline, but keeping these very essential things to the characters, and it just makes the story feel fuller and make more sense overall, in my opinion. And so, the analogy I would use when I think of the first Jasmine as a drama, I will think of it as a tree with very deep roots. Like the roots this drama places in your heart is so quiet, so unnoticeable, but when it matters, it matters. And I really, really like that about this drama. And I wish that they would take more of this approach to adapting dramas, because I will say that even the original novel of the first Jasmine is way more exciting than that of Never Ending Summer. But you clearly see a writer and a director and a producer that is very intentional about storytelling. They don't just care for the editable moments, the TikTokable moments. And honestly, I prefer that. So those are my thoughts on the first Jasmine. As always, if you have any thoughts similar or dissimilar to mine, let me know down in the comments below.